Good morning, everyone. We are up to Perek Tes Mishna Vav. The Mishnah is going to actually be starting off repeating a halakha that we already mentioned, but it's going to expand upon it. HaTevel. If someone takes tevel being grain that not truma or maisris, none of the tithings have been removed from it, so it's tevel, it's forbidden. Gidula mutarin. If you plant that tevel, then we say the growth of the tevel is permissible. Permissible meaning, as we explained previously, that the tevel that you planted was tevel that was already completely processed, and therefore you were not allowed to snack on it. So now when you when you plant that tevel and new produce comes, does it have the same status as the tevel it came from? Which means even though it has not yet been processed itself, either it came from processed tevel, it retains that status of the mother plant, or do we say no? It's completely something on its own, and now it's unprocessed tevel, and therefore you can snack on it. So we said gedula mutarin. We've already stated before that which grows from the tevel is permissible. That is the davar shazarei kala. The Mishnah qualifies that only applies by something where the seed decomposes. Where the seed decomposes, that is where we say that that what grows from the tevel does not have the status of the tevel. But if we're talking about something that the seed does not decompose, like an onion, where you plant the bulb and the bulb thickens and it grows more. Gidulin asurin. The Mishnah says not only are the growths going to be forbidden, meaning not only will the growth take on the status of the original plant and be forbidden to snack on even before it's processed, but even if you take what grew from the original plant and you planted it again, that which grows from it also will continue with that same status as the original plant, or continuing from what it had from its mother plant, which is that you're forbidden to snack on it like the original plant. We learned yesterday that the regular halacha that we learned that something that if you plant something and we say that is gedulei truma or truma, and then you go ahead and plant it again, we said that within that situation, we said that we already previously said there are situations where even though the growth was considered truma, what grew from the growth wasn't considered truma. Well, here we're now telling you that when it comes to tevel, that if we're talking about something that's not zarei kala, we're talking about something that the seed does not decompose, not only do we say that which grows from the tevel has the status like the original tevel, but even what grows from what grows also will have that status. The reason why we make this different is because once we're talking about a bulb, and we're not talking about where the seed decomposes, that means that the original plant is still here. If the original plant is still here, then already the Chachamim said that we're not going to basically ignore it and say that, what grows from it doesn't matter. If the original plant is still there, then we have to say that what grows from it continues. Only when something decomposes, not here anymore, then we can say what grows from it is an independent thing. But if the original bulb is still here, just the original bulb is growing more, then already the Chachamim did not say that it's something separate, something new, rather it's the continuation of the original plant. Now the Mishnah talks about Ezehu davar shein zarei chala. What is an example of something? What is something that does not decompose? And the Mishnah gives three examples. There could be more, but the Mishnah gives three examples. Gun haluf, which the Rambam comments that luf is a type of onion. Okay, shum is garlic, and betzalim are onions. You had onions onion were called batzel, which I always thought was a generic word for onions, but it seems to be it could be a variety of onions that are included in betzalim, and luf is on its own, or maybe betzalim is also a specific variety of onions. I didn't see an explanation about that, according to the Rambam. But basically, these three plants, the luf, which according to the Rambam is a type of onion, shum, garlic, betzalim, and other types of onions, they're all bulbous. They all are bulbs, And if you want to plant more, you take the bulb and you plant it. And bulb thickens and grows more. Those are examples of things that don't decompose. And there we say by tevel, that if you planted a onion of tevel, then that which grows from the onion will be tevel, and that which grows from what grows will also be tevel. Tevel meaning having this tevel status of the original plant. Rabbi Yehuda says, Hashum k'sa'orim, garlic is like barley. So there are two ways of explaining Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. Rabbi Yehuda can be saying garlic is like barley. Now, what do you mean garlic is like barley? Barley is not the only. Rabbi Yehuda's point is to say, by comparing it to barley, that shum garlic is considered something that decomposes. Barley, its seed decomposes, but so does wheat, so do other grains. So why do Rabbi Yehuda only compare the garlic to barley? You should just say barley is something that decomposes. So the Bartanur explains that it could mean that we use sa'urim as the example for decomposing because it's the one that decomposes the quickest. So it becomes our example for a seed, for something that decomposes. But the point is to say that shum garlic, the Tanakam, the first opinion, said garlic is something that doesn't decompose. Yehuda says no, garlic is like barley. Just like barley decomposes, garlic decomposes. The problem with this explanation is, as the Tiferes commentary of Tiferes asks, is that this is so what it, I mean, experiment. Look at it. What happens when you plant a garlic? Does it decompose or not? What's the argument here? We're arguing in facts. So that I didn't see an answer to this question if you explain the Mishnah this way. But there's another way to explain the Mishnah, and that is that we're saying that actually Ashum Kesa'orim doesn't mean shum garlic is like barley. But what it means is that garlic that's like barley is when we say that garlic does not decompose. Meaning, barley is meant to say a size. We're trying to distinguish between what the size of the garlic is. If the garlic is like the size of a barley, like the size of a barley corn, and larger, then we say that it does not decompose. Then it works like a bulb. But Rabbi Yehuda says, but if it's smaller than that, if it's smaller than a barley corn, then something that small will decompose. That's another explanation to Rabbi Yehuda's opinion. So either Rabbi Yehuda is saying that garlic always decomposes, like barley, or garlic that's like barley is when we say that the barley doesn't decompose. But if it's smaller than that, then it does decompose. Okay, we are up to mitzvah sleisaser shliach ligever al isha, prohibition against a woman wearing a garment of a man. The word kli means literally a utensil, but in this context it means a garment. Shnamar, as it says, lo yiyeh kli gever al isha. One should not, the kli gever, what pertains to a man, should not be upon a woman. That's how they translate here in English. V'hainu, meaning to say, Begadim v'tachshitin, garments and ornaments. Shemafursim v'ir shemichadim le'ish, that it is widely known in the city, meaning where you're living, that these things are exclusive to men. Lo yisabash oisem isha, a woman may not wear them. Lo segalach reisha k'ish, also included in this is not even just wearing something that a man would be wearing, but not to cut her hair like a man. This applies in all places and at all times. The next mitzvah is the other way around. Mitzvah isha. A man should not wear the garment of a woman. As it states, isha. A man shall not wear the garment of a woman. Simlas isha hainu. When we talk about the garment of a woman, what does that mean? It means garments and ornaments that it's known in the city that they are exclusive to women. V'chein ish. A man who pulls out white hairs from his dark hairs. From his head or from his beard. Even one hair. That is considered something that a woman does. Let's say he dyed his hair black. Even if he dyed one hair, when you do any of these things, you have transgressed this prohibition. Now there is there is a discussion that when certain when patterns change, when the way people do things change, this prohibition still apply. Would we say dyeing hair is this problem? Men dye their hair nowadays, and therefore we say that it's not forbidden to dye one's hair. But at one point of time, it was forbidden because that was not what a man did. That was something that a woman did. And therefore, for a man to do it during that time, or if there would be such a place that would be practiced still, that would be considered that fall under this prohibition. U'medivrei Sefer. Now, there's a rabbinic decree, shel yaver ish sa'ar beis hashechi u'sa'ar beis ha'erva, for a man not to remove the hair from his armpit or from his pubic hairs. V'ma'avirai, and one who does, b'makom shem ma'avirai nela hanoshim, in a place where only women do it, makana se makas mardis, he would get lashes of rebelliousness. We refer to that as rabbinic. That would be rabbinic lashes. Rabbinic lashes are called makas mardis. Whip lashes of rebelliousness. They translate as disobedience. And one is permitted to remove hair from any limb with scissors anywhere. Meaning, even in a place where it would not be for men to remove hair from a certain part of their body, if you do it with a scissor, it will be permissible. So it would seem that there's something specific, and according to in rabbinic law, there's something specific to the armpit and the pubic hairs. There we say that if it's not only women remove it, then we say it is forbidden for him that it's rabbinically forbidden for him to do. But in a place, but if we're talking about other parts of the body, even if it be in a place where again only women remove the hair from there, if you did it with scissors, it would be permissible. This applies in all places and at all times. Have a wonderful day.